Hi everyone, I'm Val. This is a day in the life vlog. I'm squinting because it's super bright out and I don't want to wear my sunglasses. I am currently working outside at the camp and I just thought it was a beautiful day. The temperature is really lovely that I do a quick video to talk to you about what I'm doing here. So you can see behind me some of the landscape, and I'll turn that around in a second. I am super excited to be here. I hardly even leave the property. My plan is to go into the city, which would be the closest giant city would be Nashville, which is 90 minutes, so it's 2 hours. I'm gonna be going in on Saturday, for example, to visit some friends and go to the monthly flea market, which is a really great thrift antique place, and go into the city for arts openings, that type of thing. So I'll be blogging and videoing about those experiences, but for the most part I really wanted an escape for myself to be able to not have to deal with the car and the crappy roads and angry drivers and all of that kind of thing, and wasting 2 hours of my day in a car. I thought that living out in the country I would be able to spend my time a little bit more effectively, and I wanted to create a space for people who couldn't necessarily quit their jobs and escape as well, but as more of a retreat experience. So anything from a weekend to a couple of months, offering an affordable experience. So a lot of this was born out of this desire to create community away from and different than what's on the internet, and create this kind of nurturing, creative space that, you know, being in Mother Nature really helps to do. So I'm gonna figure out how to show you the landscape here. So I was sitting outside watching the meteors, and I haven't moved the chairs yet, but I've got a, you know, sitting area. I have to take down the stupid satellites, so there's a nice little sitting area, and behind there is one of the little donkey zones. So the area is fenced in with different types of dry land and pasture land and forest stuff for us to walk around and enjoy, and then also to have these great little animals to interact with. Okay, so if you look behind me over there, again, it's super bright out today. It's beautiful temperature and really comfortable. I love being able to sit outside and work. So I'm actually technically on Wi-Fi on this 5 acres, even though I want to give everyone a chance to disconnect. I know that it is important to be able to use the internet if you need to check in, if you need to do research, you know, social media, all that kind of stuff. So if there are a group of people here, then I reserve the right to turn off the internet when we're having dinner, or, you know, group experiences, workshops, that kind of thing, so people aren't distracted by their phones. But this gives you a good example of being able to sit outside and work if you do need to use Google Docs or something like that. So back over here, I'm just going to get out here in the sun. You can see behind me over there, bamboo fields. The donkeys right now are behind there, and back in the trees back over there is the art studio, which is about 600 square feet. I'll have pottery hopefully by the end of the year if I can get a fundraiser together for that, and a garden and some fruit trees behind me, which over there, which is accessible via this yard here. So I'm creating a family-friendly, pet-friendly type of environment for emerging artists, and that includes writers, designers, architects, musicians, whoever feels like they're in need of a space that they can get their work done without all the distractions that normal life happen. So, you know, there's a lot of theories about creative thinking, and one of those is to disconnect, not necessarily from technology, from your normal routine. So our normal routine, our brain is kind of in that pattern, but when we go to a different place, we're triggered with, you know, the synapses start to move differently. So it really helps with unleashing a lot of creative ideas. And one of my recent writers in residence had that experience. She was here last month for 2 weeks, and her goal was to write an essay every day. So the first 2 days she wrote essays, and then kind of had a creative block, and then all of a sudden welled up some songs. She ended up writing enough songs for an album. Those songs had been mulling over in her head, probably in her subconscious, for, she said, almost a decade. And she was wondering if that was a successful experience of having an objective of like 12 essays, but only doing 2 and writing an equitable amount of songs. So I think that it's fun to think about creativity having a mind of its own, basically. And if you are changing your environment and you're changing your sleep patterns and you're giving yourself a space that maybe isn't in autopilot, it'll be amazing of what you might accomplish in that creative reboot. The other element is this idea of nature. So there's a really cool book that I heard a podcast about that I need to actually get the book and read it, but it's called The Geography of Creativity. The same author that wrote The Geography of Bliss. And in it, he discusses time periods where you have famous kind of creative people and their theory and their philosophy of having a city-urban experience and then escaping to nature. The other thing they do is walk a lot, so that's another concept that I really think is important. I tend to walk all the time when I'm traveling, and that my synapses in my brain, my creativity just gets like super on fire, and I get really super excited. So on the property, there's a lot of opportunity for you to be able to take walks. You can go over to the river and, you know, sit and chill out for a while. You can walk around this side where there's 5 acres. You can help out with the chickens, help out with the donkeys, whatever it is you feel like you want to work on. But I encourage you, if you're coming into the nature, to, you know, actually step outside and get involved in it. So anyway, this is a day in the life, beautiful day. So I'm going to sit down here and work on the computer, on the Wi-Fi outside, nice breeze, and I'll be posting again soon. Thanks!